Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. Um, if you've seen my videos before, which you probably haven't, I have 170 subscribers and only like 20 of them are me on different accounts, so I don't know where I'm going with this, but please don't tell YouTube and yeah. So today I just kind of wanted to make a video about my experience as a woman in computer science. So that's going to entail kind of why I chose computer science as a major, and then how I got my first job in computer science as a student, and then what I do day to day, kind of on the job today. Okay? Yeah. So how did I get here, and how can you? So I first started off actually in university or college in the States, it's equivalent, I believe. I'm pretty sure. So I started off doing psychology because I really wanted to be a psychologist. But then I realized that I'm just not really great at writing theses, and I didn't want to go through that whole path of doing a master's and a PhD. But anyways, so I took a digital humanities course also, and it's kind of a course that's cross-listed between computer science and history. And I really loved the course, and it was kind of coding in Wolfram Alpha, which is like kind of a coding language, but for people who don't code. And I really loved it. Like, I really loved the assignments, and my prof noticed too that I really enjoyed his course, and he recommended for me, he's like, hey, you really should do computer science. Like, have you ever thought of it? And I said, like, no, no, thank you. But, yeah, pretty much for there, I think I actually considered it, and I tried a couple first year courses. I really enjoyed them, and then I decided to do a double major in psychology and computer science. Yep, so that's my schooling story. That's how I got into computer science. Sorry, my Google Doc just exited. Let's get that back. Okay. Yeah, so that's how I got today. So now let's talk about how I got my first job. So I actually got one of my first jobs at a hackathon called She Hacks that Western hosts every year. I did try cold applying, where you just give your resume a bunch of times to people without actually meeting them. And I got no jobs from that, like none, like not even an offer. I think I got like one or two interviews after applying for like probably honestly like 100, maybe more. Like I applied for a lot. Yeah, so how I got my job and how I recommend you get your job, because it's extremely difficult just cold applying, is to talk to a recruiter, probably at a hackathon. So what I did is I went to SheHacks, talked to a recruiter at a company I won't name, but a big Fortune 500 company, let's just say that, of Canada. And I kind of talked to her, and I ended up really getting along well with her. And I kind of talked about her company and her company values and so and so. And I'll spare you the details, but essentially I kind of was like, do you have any jobs, without blatantly. I don't know how I did it, because I feel like the thing is, at these things, you kind of, obviously everybody wants a job, right? But you can't just ask for a job because then you look needy. It's so stupid. But anyways, somehow I asked for a job, and I guess she liked me. I wasn't too needy. I don't know. And I got my first job at this company as an internship. Sorry, I'm just looking, making sure I'm not going over time. As an internship for the summer. And then after that, I was in school again for a year. And I was getting to the end of the year, and I was freaking out because I didn't have a job. So I messaged the same company I took an internship for. And they said, hey, yeah, we actually have an opening in Toronto. Interviewed for that opening, and boom, that's where I am working today, currently full-time. It's been almost a year. Okay, so now I want to talk about barriers to entry as a female. So I think some of the barriers, honestly, are just stereotypes. Because when you think of computer science, you honestly think of a grown man, well, at least I did, a grown man, just kind of living in his mom's basement. Okay, well, I am living in my boyfriend's basement, But yeah. Okay, I also thought that you had to be into video games. Yeah, which none of this is true, and I wish I kind of knew that before kind of looking into computer science. So now I kind of want to tell you guys what I do in a day as a full stack developer. So I am a full stack developer, but it feels weird to say because when I say full stack, it doesn't mean I'm good at everything, but I do a little bit of everything. And side note, I still feel like a noob pretty much every day. Yeah. And it's been like a year, so there's that. So I guess for a full stack developer, if you don't know, that means I do front end code, which is like JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and we use some front end frameworks like Vue.js, Django, not Unchained, just Django, Ember.js, and we're starting with Vue.js, if I didn't already say that, soon. And then I do backend, which is mostly Python, mostly out of choice, just because I hate C. And once you go Python, you never go back because I just ruin all. You'll understand if you know Python, you know. Yeah, so I do a little bit of server stuff. Once again, I'm not good with it. So we have some servers. So yeah, I'll run some scripts to test some devices. We also work with virtualized containers, so I just mean like Docker. Yeah. So now let's talk about my work environment. So my work environment is mainly men. Like, I think it's just a statistic that there's just more men than women in computer science at this point. But honestly, I've never really had a problem with like misogyny or like felt like excluded because I was a girl, which is something I was kind of worried about beginning. And also one thing I like about working with a bunch of males is I feel like honestly, girls sometimes, not all girls, but sometimes we can be a little bit more judgy. I'm sure I'm to blame. It's just like if I worked in an office with all girls, maybe I would feel more compelled to wear makeup every day, where I haven't gone into the office yet, okay, because of COVID. But when I go in, I refuse to wear makeup. And I just feel like working in an environment with more males, it just kind of like, I'm not saying this right, but no makeup, that's good. Okay. So day to day, what do I do? I troubleshoot a lot. I have a lot of bugs all the time. Yeah. I think I've heard it gets better as you get better at coding, but I'm going to be honest, a lot of the day is just like, why is my code not running? What is this error in my code? A lot of learning, a lot of Googling, clerical stuff. There's actually a lot of HR stuff you have to do. I guess it's just kind of, I think it's just like all companies. I was kind of surprised and taken back at first that it wasn't all like 24/7 coding. So that's something to note. It can be overwhelming sometimes knowing there's so much to know, but you just have to know that a lot of people are in the same boat and like a lot of people feel like that. So I felt like that kind of helped. And then I want to talk about, do I enjoy it and will you enjoy it? Okay, so overall, I would say yes, I do enjoy it. And I think you would enjoy it if you really like kind of novelty, problem solving, learning new things, if you like building cool things. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like 80% of the time I'm like, oh, I hate this. And then when your code actually runs and it like works without any bugs, I'm like, wow, this is the best job. I am living. Yeah, so that's something to keep in mind. You kind of have to be a little persistent and know that times will get rough. Oh, I want to talk about one like interesting thing. Well, recently I volunteered at a hackathon, She Hacks, actually. I came back as a mentor. And we just talked about how, like, most of the time, if on a resume, like a tech resume, if a girl only knows 20% of the skills, so, like, let's say they want you to know SQL, Python, Java, all of those languages, which is, like, usually ridiculous, whatever. A girl will only apply if she knows 80% of what's on there, where a guy will apply usually if he only knows 20% of on there. So I think like that's kind of one of the barriers to entry for women too. I feel like we have to know more in order to be comparable to our male counterparts, which I think is kind of crazy, but that's just the thing we were talking about, me and the other mentors at the hackathon. So I hope I went over everything okay today and didn't talk too fast, which I probably did, or ramble. Yeah, but that's a day in the life of a woman in computer science. Have a good day. I'm going to take my makeup off right after this video because I'm catfishing. Okay, bye guys. How do I turn this off? Okay, let's try it on my watch. On my watch.